has been a consultant on synodality from the very beginning when the topic was being crafted and when the original documents were being prepared. And so she has been there from the very beginning, and she has an experience of what she's saying. We thank you once again, Sister Esther. Please, can we give her another round of applause? Sister Esther has an experience in teaching in the seminary for a long time, and that is why she has spoken today very magisterially. This was an assignment that was given by the Synodal Assembly to Africa, to SECAM, or to SECAM, during the first session of the Synod. And like Sister Esther has presented in her paper, the church welcomes those people in the church and calls them to participate in all that in the life of the church. Sister has explained the constitution of the African family, going down to include right down to the ancestors and all those in the extended family. The first wife is considered wife, and polygamy is not just an African concept, but exists in other parts of the world that is not in Africa. And it's also worth noting that polygamy as a subject was brought up in the Synod Assembly by the Africans. It was not brought up for polygamy to be recognized, but as a problem of marriage in Africa. And this is very important for all of us as we reflect on this, because polygamy was not brought up as an African concept to be approved. It was brought up as a challenge to Christian marriage in Africa. And it is very important that we ourselves will get this clearly as we continue to talk about this document. And Sister has also mentioned the pastoral approach to polygamists, the one of listening, proximity, and accompaniment. And she has outlined also some of the causes of polygamy, which has to do also with fertility, some of the aspects of the culture. And the polygamist is encouraged to join the Christian community and hear the word of God. And this is part of the evangelization work that we do. She has gone back to something that is in Lumen Gentium, number 10, of those who follow their consciences and will see God if they truly have not had the opportunity of encountering Jesus Christ. But that brings her on to Christian polygamists. What are the causes that allow Christians, those already baptized, to become polygamists? She has explained some of those things. And she also analyzed to us the canonical concept of unity and indissolubility as the essential properties of marriage, something that solidifies Christian marriage and makes polygamy stand out as being not according to the mind of God from the moment that God created man and woman and made marriage as a divine institution. Polygamy does not promote the dignity of man and woman as willed by God from the moment of their creation. Sister's paper also brings out the pastoral care of widows, which is very, very important because for some reason, I don't know why, many men die before the women. And so there are always many widows around. So focusing on this care of widows is also very important. So if we're going to say pastoral care of widowers, it will not be as strong as the pastoral care of widows because there are cultural aspects that impress the women and oppress the women than for the men. Sister also looked at enculturation, the encounter between faith and the sociocultural realities. This document, as Sister mentioned, and the Secretary General for the Raphael, was already worked by our theologians, and we thank the theologians for their wonderful work. This document was sent already to Rome, to the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, and they made some suggestions and sent back. And those suggestions were already incorporated in this document that Sister has presented to us. Unfortunately, the document came late, so it was not put in the files that were forwarded to the participants. And so many of us are hearing this for the first time. Sometimes it's very difficult to know how to present this thing because it has been elaborated, it has been sent to Rome, it has been corrected, and it has been sent back, and the corrections have been incorporated. Now it is being presented to SECAM, and SECAM will have to give some more opinions, some more suggestions that could be incorporated into the document and sent back to Rome for final approval. But the final sending to Rome will have to carry the figures of the votes for this document. And I think that is where we are. So thank you very much, sister. And like we said at the beginning, it is not to ask sister questions, like for her to, we can ask for clarifications. But just like we said of Bishop Moko, she's not defending a thesis. It is not her paper. It is our paper. And so we are bringing up suggestions to enrich this paper so that we can finish with it and send it back to Rome with our votes. So now, if Father Kofi is around, yes, Father Kofi can bring the microphone to whoever wants to make some deep and insightful suggestions to enrich this paper. Thank you very much. Wait, yes, Monsignor.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Sister. Bishop Joseph from South Africa. You talked about the family, the dignity of women, but the children from such families was not much said. The children, because such children, if they want to become priests or sisters, there's a bit of discrimination from we, the church leaders. And these children, they find themselves in such a situation which they did not cause. But they want to become seminarians, they want to become holy sisters, but we don't look at their situation. And at times we deny them that call of God. So could we talk more about the children from such situations? Thank you.
Monsieur Théophile Nare, Burkina Faso. Merci beaucoup à la sœur. Je n'entends pas remettre en cause le document qui nous est présenté. Très bien fait. Mais j'aurais aimé, dans le sens d'un complément de compréhension, que la sœur nous dise ce que Rome a trouvé à ajouter au premier document qui a été envoyé. Cela pourrait nous aider à voir ce qui était problématique pour que nous puissions nous aussi apporter notre contribution à cette assemblée. Merci.
Yeah, Monsignor.
Monsignor Wolfgang Pisa from Lindi, Tanzania. Thank you very much, Monsignor. My appreciation to the sister for her presentation. Many years ago, I read an article written by one of the African theologians that among the pastoral problems we have is the polygamy. He mentioned the others, but also I would like to thank you for this courageous attempt of coming up with on this move on the polygamy. Nevertheless, I have a bit of reservation on the choice of a word on this document. First of all, the choice of the word on the accompaniment and the care. Despite the long way it has taken that he has been in the synod and is back again, and then we're encouraged to take it back to Rome. First of all, the word accompaniment and care, my reservation, these are the same words which were used also in the Amoris Laetitia, chapter 8, which raised also a lot of concern. Among others, the prelates, the theologians, and many others. But also I could have wished if polygamy could have been defined. What do we really mean by polygamy? But not only that of the choice of the words, but looking only at polygamy as the only problem, I see that there is also a problem. I think the problem is the family and marriage life. Is the marriage and family life, matrimony and family life. It's not only the issue of polygamy. So the whole institution of family is kind of touched, but also the marriage bond is touched. But if you go in deep also, it's like compromising with the gospel when referring, adopting polygamy as something that we should care and accompany. I think it challenged the word of God, where we say that the two come together as one flesh. There are so many scenarios of polygamy. I wouldn't go in detail right now, but I think the remedy to this polygamy is not to embrace it. This morning we heard in the gospel reading that discipleship demands sacrifice, and everyone is called during the reflection. I'm more of the favor that we keep confronting the polygamists, we're still encouraging them, and we minister. We don't refrain our ministry from them. We have to love them. We have a very good people who are polygamists. Many of them, a good number of them, are still in the church and they are active. But pushing for it, I'm afraid that that will compromise the gospel. Thank you.
We have 3 or 4 reactions already. And starting with the first one, before I go over to what the sister is going to say, I'm very sure there are bishops sitting here who come from polygamous families and from Muslim families. So I'm very surprised to hear about this discrimination with regard to admitting in the seminary. I think that is completely obsolete and is not something we can start wasting our time on here. I'm sorry for putting it so crudely, but sometimes we create our own laws and we implement them because that is not anywhere in the Ratio Fundamentalis or in the Code of Canon Law governing all these things about vocations. I'm just putting up these points because as a member of the synod also, we had been looking at this problem from the beginning. My Lord Bishop, polygamy was not looked at as the only problem. Polygamy was one of the many problems that were looked at. And they wanted to go into in-depth study of polygamy. Because it was brought up by the African church, SECAM was asked to look into it and make a proposal. And therefore, these proposals we are making is not only going to help Africa as Africa, but it's going to help any other community in the world where polygamy exists. And even in the document, the final document of the synod, you discover that there is a section there that talks about marriage and some of the problems affecting marriage. And they just put in parentheses, polygamy was given to Africa to study. So it's not the only problem that was looked at in the synod. Many other problems were looked at, but this aspect of pastoral accompaniment was assigned to SECAM. Sister, the rest of the questions or the clarifications, I think you will do.
Obrigada. Não vou voltar ao que acaba de dizer Sua Eminência aqui, porque isso já foi, de facto, a resposta seria essa para a primeira questão. A segunda questão, quem vai responder é o Padre Rafael, ele que recebeu o texto da Santa Sé, portanto, e o que vai ser incorporado não é na parte pastoral, é na primeira parte das justificativas, da primeira parte do nosso documento. No que diz respeito aos termos, à escolha dos termos para este documento, eu tenho a dizer que a primeira parte do documento que não receberam, que penso que vão receber, tem as definições, o que é que nós dizemos, por que chamamos poligamia, o que é a poligamia, etc. Portanto, e por que escolher a palavra acompanhamento, por que falar do cuidado. Como acaba de ser dito, não se trata de fazer compromissos, trata-se justamente de abrir caminhos para aqueles que vêm a nós estando em situação de poligamia. Lembrar que a pergunta a qual estamos a responder é esta: como ajudar aqueles que descobrem Cristo estando eles mesmos em situação de poligamia? Foi analisando esta questão que falamos dos polígamos cristãos, de pessoas cristãs, batizadas, quero dizer, que enveredaram pela poligamia. Mas o nosso foco é o que fazer quando uma família ou alguém que está em poligamia descobre a palavra de Deus, descobre o Cristo, vem ter conosco e diz: eu gostaria de conhecer mais. O que fazemos? Por isso falamos de acompanhar, de estar junto, de ajudá-lo a descobrir cada vez mais este evangelho e este reino. E perceber que Cristo é maior do que os sacramentos. Obrigada.
Thank you. The question was, what kind of observations came from Rome? It's a very small thing. As the sister said, is in the historical and theological part. But what we are proposing to start and to present to the bishops the pastoral proposal for accompaniment of the people in polygamy. So then we spoke about Petrine and Paul privilege. So Romy said, you cannot send this to the conferences because it will make some confusion. It's better you try to remove it and reorganize your text, and then you will share it with the bishops. But what is a core of our study are the 6 proposals for the accompaniment that for Rome was well done. So we are happy that our theological theme committee that we call Comitio, which Sister Esther is representing here, they did a very good work. So this proposal were accepted in Rome. Now we are presenting here to the bishops to see if there is something to add, to observe, to change. And this proposal that will come from the bishop is the one that we will share again with Rome, and then our document will be allowed to be spread, even to be used. So it's what we are waiting for to hear from this plenary. If they adopt the 6 proposals that we are presenting here, or there's something more to add, and then we will share with Rome. Thank you.
Very much, Father Simbine. We open the floor to second round of questions. And we give the floor to one of our theologians to make an intervention.
Merci, Excellence. Je voudrais revenir sur la question du privilège pétrinien qui a été abordé dans le test. En fait, c'est la situation des femmes qui étaient unies dans le mariage naturel qui est indissoluble, et ce mariage est corrompu par l'homme qui prend une seconde femme. Et cette première femme demande le baptême. Et dans les dispositions actuelles, c'est difficile de l'accepter tant qu'elle est encore épouse de cet homme. Donc la question du privilège pétrinien, c'est que cette femme, la situation de cette femme qui n'a pas corrompu le mariage naturel, qu'est-ce que pastoralement, comment nous faisons pour elle? C'était ça la question. Et donc Rome a dit, comme la question est très compliquée, il y a 12 implications, il vaut mieux d'abord, enfin, au niveau de la conférence épiscopale, au niveau de l'Afrique, on n'a pas compétence pour aborder cela, bon, mais ça reste une question que l'Afrique pose pour demander, mais dans ces cas spécifiques, qu'est-ce que le privilège pétrinien le dit? Voilà. Donc, c'était ça la question. Il y a un deuxième aspect que je laisse le Père Santédi aborder.
Merci. Le document du Saint-Siège, d'abord, félicite ce document du SECAM pour avoir abordé la question du mariage, comme dit le dicaster, sous ses multiples facettes, ses causes ainsi que des solutions en vue d'accompagner les polygames. D'abord, il souligne cela et il nous fait 2 suggestions. La première, c'est de mettre un peu de côté cette question du privilège pétrinien, comme vient de dire le Père Adé. Deuxième question, le document du Saint-Siège rappelle que nous avons bien fait de lier la question avec la sacramentalité, la question du baptême, en disant que nous avons montré que le baptême exige une conversion, une entrée dans un registre nouveau. Mais il nous suggère de ne pas lier seulement cela dans cet aspect, de voir aussi ce que l'aspiration au baptême apporte aux personnes qui aspirent à cela, notamment, comme dit le document, une précieuse aide aux baptisés quand est en jeu le salut éternel. Par exemple, quelqu'un qui est dans un état vraiment qui demande le baptême, qu'on soit ouvert à cela. Voilà, le document donc du dicaster remercie parce qu'on a lié cela en montrant qu'il n'y a pas de compromission avec la doctrine, mais nous demande de ne pas fermer la porte par rapport à une aspiration quand il y a lieu de cela. Merci.
We give the microphone to Cardinal John Onaikan.
I was hoping you didn't see my hand because I didn't want to intervene in these discussions since I'm retired now. But I just don't understand. What is this traffic between Kemeteol and Rome and us and back. Since when did this traffic begin? Or is this specifically for this document? Somebody raised this issue before, behind here. Someone raised this issue before. It's not so clear. SECAM should be able to produce its own documents now. Finish your document, and then if anybody else has something to say about it, they will say, I don't know what has changed since the past 20 years. If my question is relevant, then simply forget it. I couldn't follow, I didn't receive this paper before, so I cannot make any observation on the paper that has been read by sister. But I hope they will let us have it in English and other languages, so that at least those who came here as delegates will know what to report in their bishops' conference.
Thank you, Your Eminence. We pass the floor. We give the microphone to Archbishop Charles Palmer.
I would actually like to congratulate us at SECAM level that we are confronting a reality that most probably, because of the way we were evangelized, we were Christianized, we did not want to look at the reality of polygamy within the context of marriage and the complexity of its consequences on the individual, on the marriage itself, on a person's growing to become a Christian and to look at other faiths and the rest. So first, I like to say, well done. And I'm happy that, yes, it was proposed to us from Rome as we threw it to them. And therefore, we are doing well to discuss it. It is not something that I expect us to have an immediate solution to. It is, as they call, the pastoral of accompaniment. People will come to us. Women will come to us, or they have been coming. Men will come to us who are involved in polygamous relationships and the rest. Children will come to us as results of polygamous, marriages and the rest, and so on and so forth. So we cannot and we should not now look for solution, but rather look for the pastoral way of how to welcome them, what level of welcome we can accord them, how to listen to them in synodality and the rest, how to even detail one or the other priest to be pastorally in charge of them, like a chaplaincy of some sort, whereby we will learn to know more and more what are some of the challenges and the difficulties therein to be able to help them. Definitely, having been in charge of vocations as a vocation promoter, we were made to understand that young men or young boys who wanted to become priests, coming from polygamous marriages, either simultaneous or contemporaneous, or even coming from broken families, we were made to understand that psychologically they carry a baggage which we will have to learn to confront and accept, because it marks them in their relationship socially, culturally, and we hope and pray even that can impinge upon their spiritual development positively or negatively. So I would say that it's time we discuss these issues. And I'm happy we are discussing it. I don't want us to leave here with immediately a solution to it. We shall send what we would approve to Rome. Rome will send it back to us. But it has to be dealt with in the various parishes and dioceses, not just globally, but more dealt with in the various parishes and dioceses, because that is where we confront the complexity of a young man, a young woman who has been brought up in a polygamous context, or even in a broken home, or even in a non-marriage sort of environment. We have to confront it. And that is where I think the Lord God calls us to be open to all who will come. So this is the beginning, that we accept that they belong to, and they can be called by the Lord, and we are ready not to close the door to them, but rather to even welcome them as some of those on the peripheries of our lives, and see how we can accompany them. So my attitude is a very positive one that has come to us, thanks even to the fact that Rome accepted our bringing it to them for us to discuss it. Let's discuss it. Don't let us be afraid of the complexity yet.
Thank you, Your Grace. Yes, my Lord. Monseigneur, c'est à vous la parole. Yeah. Next to Archbishop Anthony.
Thank you. I have a question before saying my reactions. Whether there is a community in Africa that makes polygamy as a law, and therefore monogamous forbidden or unlawful. Because otherwise, little by little, we will be talking also of other things. Because they are done by human beings, and so we have to. So I would like to know whether there is a community in Africa that put polygamy as a law, and therefore monogamous forbidden. But as if it is just an inclination, then we will be drawn little by little to talk also of other things that may take us very far. My reaction is that you said already the paper was forwarded to Rome and back and forth. I think it was too raw to do that. These are the things we have to discuss and talk about, because otherwise we are talking of Africa like some people who think Africa is a village with one ethnic group. Thank you.
Thank you. Bishop Michael. We'll come the other way. Yes, Cardinal.
Mine is an experience that I would want to share with the House. I am from Nigeria, the Catholic Diocese of Otukpo. We have many people in this situation that we are talking about. They are very, very good. And so accompanying them, we have worked a system in the diocese, and we have created a pious association for taking care of the group. Things like St. Anthony or Padua and all the other groups do not welcome people who are not married in the church. So in this group, we call it St. Augustine. is for those who are in this type of polygamous group that we are talking about. And we have sent some of them to train as catechists. They help us to accompany the group in the diocese. And it's really working well. Our joy is that as some of them are dying, especially the men, the women get into the sacraments very easily. So in terms of accompaniment, I think some of you can try. It may work in your place. It's working in our place as one of the aspects of accompanying the polygamous families. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop Michael. I think we need to applaud for that there is a positive or a proactive step that has been taken towards handling polygamous, accompanying polygamous families. We give the microphone first to Cardinal Surafil, and then we can go behind to Sister.
Thank you very much, Sister Esther, for the presentation, which is positive. And when we speak about polygamy, in some parts of the world, also there is what is called polyandry. And did you consider that also? Or is that also considered in Rome? And while you are presenting the pastoral approach to polygamous families, I was reflecting about the position which SECAM took on fiducia supplicans. On that document, we stated the doctrine of the Catholic Church, that the Lord created male and female equal, and marriage is between man and woman. I think also probably in this presentation on polygamous families, would it not be good to present the doctrine of the Catholic Church so that others will not take us as if we have misunderstood or lightened the doctrine of the Catholic Church, especially on marriage and which you mentioned, indissolubility and so on. So that is, I feel, very important. And it's good that studies are being done, especially also among the theologian group you have. I hope you have also kind of lawyers. How do they see that? And even if in some societies it might be considered as part of the life of the society, but how is it seen canonically also by our canon lawyers? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Eminence. Sister, you have the floor.
Yeah, my name is Sister Eugenia from Ghana. I'm really happy to hear and to know that SECAM is discussing such an important issue in our church in Africa. And I agree with the document that polygamy actually doesn't favor the dignity of the woman. And as we discuss this, I would like us to look at the situation of women. There are so many women in polygamous situations or relationships who want to opt out, but are not able to do that for financial reasons. they often depend on their husbands for their economic life. Even though the husband, they are obliged to take care of the children. But if the woman opts out, there is nothing that will oblige the man to take care of the divorced wife. So as we discuss this, can we come up with ways to help the situation of such women who may want to receive the sacraments, opt out and receive the sacraments, but are unable to do that because of these marriages? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister. Monseigneur Jean Bosco. Monseigneur Jean Bosco, d'abord.
Merci. Je suis Monseigneur Jean Bosco du Cameroun. Permettez-moi de donner rapidement 2 exemples que j'ai rencontrés. Quand j'étais jeune évêque, j'ai fait un rapport à Rome où j'avais à peu près les 3/4 de mes 600 catéchistes qui ne recevaient pas de sacrement. Certains étaient polygames, d'autres ne l'étaient pas. Rome m'a demandé de les renvoyer tous. Et quand j'ai voulu le faire, il ne restait presque personne. J'ai été embarrassé. J'ai dû les conserver en attendant de voir plus clair. Deuxième exemple, après mon ordination sacerdotale, j'ai rencontré un cas, un couple qui, le monsieur avait été marié à l'église et sa femme est partie. Il a pris une deuxième femme et cette deuxième femme lui a donné un garçon de 19 ans à l'époque. Et il réclamait les sacrements. Je me suis adressé à mon évêque qui a dit pas question, on ne peut pas leur donner des sacrements. Troisième exemple que je peux donner, je vais en visite pastorale et quelqu'un qui demande, un vieux qui demande le sacrement. Il avait 4 femmes. Je lui dis, mais tu ne peux pas. Tu t'es marié avec une femme? Il dit, non, non. Bon, alors tu choisis une. Je vais vous marier, les autres, tu les renvoies, tu leur donnes leur liberté. Et il me répond, ne sois pas ridicule. Où est-ce que je leur donne la liberté? Où est-ce qu'elles vont partir? Elles vont partir que je ne peux pas arriver. Bon. Alors, ma question, si nous voulons voir ce problème de mariage, il faut peut-être le prendre dans la globalité. Il n'y a pas que la polygamie. Peut-être ceux qui sont en 2e noce, 3e noce, qui ne reçoivent pas, qui veulent recevoir le sacrement, ils sont peut-être plus nombreux. La polygamie, c'est peut-être une valeur traditionnelle, mais il n'y a pas que ça, ce que nous rencontrons dans la pastorale. Nous avons des mouvements d'action catholique, il y a pas mal de femmes très généreuses, très soucieuses de l'Église, qui ne reçoivent pas les sacrements. Et quand elles demandent le sacrement, c'est d'accéder à l'Eucharistie. Donc, est-ce qu'on ne peut pas plutôt réfléchir d'une manière globale sur cet ensemble de problèmes? C'est ma question.
Thank you, Monseigneur. We give the floor to the professor theologian before we come up. And we round up because we are running against time.
Thank you very much, my Lord Bishop. Just to probably, sorry for the expression, to sign a little bit of caution here. Our document of SECAM, is not first and foremost promoting polygamy, neither is it condemning it, as our missionaries did. We are not condemning it. However, we are not condoning and conniving also with it. This is where the pastoral perspective comes in. These The documents spells out clearly how we have to accompany them, but it insists on the word, the listening to the word of God. That normally should provoke conversion or conviction. You have to be convinced that you are a Christian. For somebody to get up to the period of conversion is where we need to accompany the person gradually to arrive at proper conversion. And so we plead with you, it's your document. We are not condoning and conniving that is something we have to move on with it just like that, no. However, we have also seen and detected there are several kinds of polygamy, which is going on today. The document talks about it. Sister cannot do everything today. The voile marriages, the side chicks, the bureau, au Congo, the offices here and there, all these are disturbances against monogamy. And of course, against women. So we plead that we take time to go to the documents, and we are ever ready to listen to your suggestions and put it in there for you, because that is your document. I will be happy if your president, Cardinal, can explain a little bit for us why the document has to go to Rome. I think it was a request coming from Rome during the preparation of Synod on Synodality that we have to answer a question of polygamy. And so it's not just, I don't think we are just ignoring SECAM owners and send a document to Rome and coming back, forth and back. I pity them as they sit there, because that's the impression we are having. But that is not the case. We have prepared so many documents, it never went to Rome. This particular one was so peculiar because it coincided with fiduciary supplicants. And so we need to treat it as it is within its proper context. With this, I thank you.
Thank you, Professor. We will give the last chance to